Jeremiah 18, verse 1 through 6. So it says, "This is the word that came from Jeremiah from the Lord. Go down at once to the potter's house. There I will reveal my words to you." So I went down to the potter's house, and there he was, working away at the wheel. But the jar that he was making from the clay became flawed in the potter's hand. So he made it into another jar, just as it seemed right for him to do. The word of the Lord came to me, "House of Israel, can I not treat you as his potter treats his clay?" This is the Lord's declaration. Just like the clay in the potter's hands, so are you in my hand, house of Israel. And I want you to not miss anything in that. The first thing that happened there, they talked about the marring happened in the hands. So basically, marring, essentially what it means is that, like, so he said it became flawed, essentially. So in the potter's hands, pot was becoming flawed, just like we are in God's hands. We're built for sin, and God knows that. He knows he can work his magic. And in the potter's hands, you might have missed that part, but he said that the failure didn't catch the potter off guard. He kind of knew it was going to happen because he felt it. He knew it was in his hands, and he felt like, hey, this is not coming out the way it's supposed to come out. So he was able to just make an adjustment. He reshaped it in the way that he thought would be fit. And sometimes I think about that, and I'm like, our mess up is not God's surprise. It's not a surprise to God, right? We mess up in his hands, and he's still willing to give us the help and the courage to keep going. He reshapes us, he molds us into what he wants us to be for his story to take place. And the beautiful thing about that is the falling apart of the pot. It wasn't like thrown out on the floor, it was something that stayed in the potter's hands. So it kind of makes me think that as long as we stay in God's hands, we're in good hands. Like, maybe it's not something that we could do on our own, but I'm sure that he's still transforming our story, but we have to seek God for him to seek us. The second thing, the potter didn't start new clay. He basically used the shape of the clay that he had in his hands to then just reshape it, the imperfection. He refined it and reformed it to something new. And if that doesn't say a lot about our God, I don't know what does. There's so many people I've heard stories of that have, of course, lived this life, a hard life at that. And oftentimes when they do, they're looking to come to God in a perfect way. And that's not the case, right? We don't have to be perfect in front of God. This passage tells us right here, God knows we're not perfect, but he's reshaping us all the time. And that's through his power, the Holy Spirit, through Jesus. There's so many ways that he can just use us and mold us into what he wants us to be. So all this to say is God's not waiting for a better version of you to start working with. He knows where you should be. He knows your tendencies. So you don't have to have this idea that you're going to be perfect in God's eyes, because there's very few people in the Bible, if you remember, that were perfect in God's eyes. They did some great things, I'm sure, but not everyone's going to have that same story.